Sorry about that interruption. Okay, so just coming back to, do you have a funeral place and plan?
No, I don't. Look, one of the main reasons I need to see you is to sort out all of this stuff from my husband, but also I need to make sure that my daughter is taken care of. That is one of my main priorities now, is to make sure that if something happens to me, that there's not any burden on her and that she is financially taken care of. So,
okay, so understanding, when we go back through our assets, I'll get a clear view of where we're at, but there are different ways that we can actually set up our wills. A testamentary trust is one of the better ones when we've got small children and we're really wanting to protect our assets. I've actually got one in play for myself and my children. So when we're looking at them, what we can do is, it's generally called like a living will. So you can actually look at what you've got, your asset base, and then predict out what's going to happen in the future, rather than just leaving a lump sum to a child. What we can do is we can structure it so that we can go, okay, I've got an asset base of, 500,000. I wanted it invested, and I want the proceeds from that to go to a guardian to look after her until she's of such age. Then we can structure from there. Okay, we need X money to pay for her university. We also want the home to be passed to her at a certain age. So we don't need to just leave it to her. We can document everything out right up to if you want.
That's good, because I don't want an 18-year-old that has access to a lot of money either. So that's very good.
So there's good ways that we can look at it, especially if we're looking at your life insurances and different policies that we can put in play. Making sure the big bulk of that money is invested correctly until she comes of age, so because she is so young. But we can also look at making sure that assets are protected. If you're saying that you only want 25% of the home going to your stepson, then we can work out so we don't have to immediately have that house sold.
Well, he will inherit from his mother as well. So
yeah.
I think that was a fair way to do it.
Because it is a good question that you'll need to start thinking about, is if something was to happen to you in the short term, who's going to be looking after your daughter? What place would she be living in? And because the stepson's already over 18, would he want the home sold immediately? So we need to look at our different options there.
Well, technically the home is being left to me by Tony. So it is now mine, so I don't believe that he can take anything, but I would still like to make sure that he is taken care of.
Okay. Because it could be that we do evaluation or something like that.
And I look at him being a guardian for my child later on either. Yes, I don't think that would be possible. I would probably I have to speak to my sister, and we've mucked around talking about it in the past.
Yeah.
But obviously now we need to have a really serious talk about that.
Wonderful. So what I will do when it comes with the estate planning is we use a gentleman in Brisbane that looks after that side of it for us. Christian is his name, so I'm going to send off some referrals. I'll go through, as I said, I'm going to go through all your fact find with you to get an asset base. I'll forward down your details to him and a bit of an understanding about what you're wanting. Then he can go through with you and get a good clear picture. I'll also send off some information over to the accountant as well, so that we can get a clear vision of where your assets are. So between the three of us, we'll put together a bit of a plan going forward for that one. Okay, wonderful. Now, when it comes, can you give me a bit of an overview of your husband's estate, please?
Well, we have the house together.
So how much is the home valued at?
Oh, look, probably about 520,000.
Yeah, and how much do we have owing on it?
About 140. I think I've got some documents. Again, Tony took care of all of this.
That's okay. And now you said that he's got a super fund, and he also has a life insurance policy.
He's got a super fund with Busque. They've actually already been to see me as well. So yeah, he does have a super fund and a bit of a policy with them, I think.
Okay, so just in some of my notes here, we've got about 199,000 in super.
I think that statement here is 196. Yeah.
Beautiful. And also you have a life policy of about 350,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank goodness it'll make the difference, I suppose.
Wonderful. And you've got about $10,000 in credit card debt, is that correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So other than that, that fairly well is
Oh, Tony
everything.
had a funeral fund too.
Oh, beautiful. We've got a
Yeah.
funeral fund.
Yeah.
What about any long service, anything penalties that have been
Yeah,
laid out?
look, he would have some long service. I just, like, I've gone through and taken what documents, that I could find, but, oh, that would,
Lou? Yep,
yeah,
that
is
looks
that it?
perfect.
Is that
Yep,
it? Yeah.
That's great. And actually, if I can grab that one as well, that's perfect.
Okay.
So that's his long service leave and his funeral fund. It's about 23,000.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have noted on your email to me that one of your questions was also when to have these paid out.
Like, I don't even, like, can you? I don't know anything
What we
about
can
them,
do
really.
is with his, especially with his long service leave, we can have a look at what he's actually, what his current year to date is. I will sit with the accountant again. I'll put together another meeting with the accountant involved so we can have a good look on how we're going to pay and when we're going to pay the different amounts.
And then, like, what about, like, so then they'll probably have to have tax, will it?
It definitely will need to. So I've gone over a little bit over his tax return, and he's already earned about $100,000 for this financial year. So it may be better that we restructure it for the 1st of July. So we'll go into a second tax year.
Yeah, you're saying that, so we were running our house on that money and mine. Even if I can get rid of the mortgage, like, I'm not making enough money.
Beautiful. So one of our biggest desires, biggest goals is to pay off the mortgage.
Yeah, and I can't work full time right now. I need to be there for my daughter, but I need to supplement my income
Okay,
somehow
so we
as
kind
well.
of need a second income from the investments.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Alright, so we can definitely look over these. Now when it comes to BusQ, when you're looking at taking entitlements from a super fund, from your spouses, from a death benefit, when we're actually looking at it, there's normally two options that we've got. You can take an account-based pension, where they're going to pay you an X amount of money every month, so then until you're 60. Or we can then look at just rolling the whole fund and putting it into your super fund, or we can actually pull it out and have it in your personal name. So when we're looking at it, BusQ unfortunately doesn't give us those options. It is one of the super funds that says that the money needs to actually be transferred out into your personal account.
So we're talking about that I can take that money to my personal account. It doesn't have to go to my super.
No, that's right. So his life benefit of $350 and his $199 that's sitting in BusQ at the moment,
Yeah.
they actually need to be transferred to your personal name.
Okay, I thought maybe I might not get that because it might have to stay in my super.
No, different super funds do often offer different options,
Okay.
but unfortunately, because it's great if we can keep some of it inside super, it is good because it's a different tax breaks, and being within once it's a death benefit, it can be in a pension phase, which then you'll pay no tax.
And like, but does that just eat away at my capital? Like, how do I keep my capital intact and?
With this, we will look at the option of what we can invest outside.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at some different strategies on how we can invest it so we're able to produce a second income.
And then try to keep me money together.
And then, leaving your capital intact, and then we can go through from there. So I'll just finish collecting some of the data, and then I'll go through some of those options with you. Wonderful, okay, I have all this. What I'm going to get you to do for me, because we are going to be looking at some investment options for you, I've got 15 questions here, and at the end of it, what it's going to do is actually going to give me an understanding of where your risk lies. So if you're a balanced investor or if you're a high risk investor.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, and then at the end, if you can sign it, because that's when I get audited, that way I've got everything in play that I haven't actually done for you. So if you can go through that, and I'm going to just run you through some of my systems.